Hello, I'm Sophia Poulos and welcome to Real Estate Insider. And here's my dad.
Hi, thanks for joining us on Real Estate Insiders. I'm Danny Poulos from the Elite Lending Team at Phillippi, and we're joined today with Joy Phillippi from BWG Realty in Jupiter. And Joy is an expert in the luxury market in northern Palm Beach County, and that's what we're going to be talking about today. Joy, thanks for joining us, and take a moment, tell us...
Thanks for having me.
My pleasure. Tell us how long you've been doing what you're doing.
I've been in the real estate business for over 20 years. I'm a real estate broker in 3 different states. I started out my career in Colorado in high-end luxury upscale resort communities. Mostly doing acquisitions back then of other resorts, but in one way or the other I've always been in the luxury arena. Then went back to my home state, was licensed in Missouri and sold luxury real estate property there, and now my favorite here in Florida, where I'd rather be rather than any other place in the world.
So you went from the mountains to the ocean.
Yes.
And everything in between.
One extreme to another. One extreme to another.
And the plains in between.
Yeah.
So let's start with just a general overview of what's going on in the luxury market. I mean, we've seen a lot of changes in the last 10 years. Where does the luxury market sit in those changes?
Well, the luxury market always seems to be the last to be affected by the downturn in the real estate market, and it's the first to rebound, and we're experiencing that now with relatively low interest rates. The luxury market is certainly moving very, very well. If people have their houses priced correctly, then they are seeing movement, especially because we have low inventory.
Right. So during the downturn, the luxury market was still the longest stronghold for a while, I guess.
Yes.
And then you're saying that's the first. I didn't realize that. So that's the first part of the market to come back.
To come back, absolutely. And there's not a great deal of inventory out there. So when I say it's the first to come back, there's still people in that market, in that arena, with the desire for luxury properties and to buy them. And the trick is to be able to find what fits their needs.
So, when we say luxury, it's such a wide expanse in northern Palm Beach County, because we've got golf communities, we've got beachfront communities, tennis clubs.
Everybody that comes here assumes that if they come from up north to Florida, they automatically assume that they're going to be in a high-rise condo overlooking the ocean, and that's basically their choice. Or at least in the luxury market, they're going to be on a beachfront single-family home. But there's other things that fall in that luxury arena, and there's other things available to almost any taste.
I think you're right. They think about looking at the ocean from a condo, or obviously sitting on, on the ninth green on a golf course.
Right.
But in our area, you've explained to me before, there's a lot of luxury homes, single-family homes, where you're not involved in big clubs and memberships and things like that. So let's touch on those. What's out there in luxury communities that are off what we would normally think of as luxury communities for Palm Beach County?
Okay, probably the best way I can describe it to you is to give you a couple of examples. A typical neighborhood luxury community would be Valencia. It's in the Abacoa community, very, very family friendly, has all of the amenities in that community that a family would desire, from playgrounds to shops to skate parks for the kids. That community, though, is considered luxury. It's beautiful palm tree lined streets.
Right.
It's sort of like Palm Beach in that it's got that Mediterranean look to it,
right,
and Meisner influenced, and they're custom homes, and anywhere from 2,200 square feet to over 5,000 square feet.
And inventory there, it's pretty hard to come by too, I understand.
Inventory there is hard to come by at any given time. There's probably 2, 3, maybe 4 homes if we're lucky on the market. So basically when you take somebody who really wants to be in that type of environment, you say, here, these are the 3 to choose from.
Right.
And maybe another one will pop up here. But then you've got some other choices too.
Let's move to the beach.
Well, not to the beach yet. In that arena, you've got some other choices. You can go to, for instance, Steeplechase. Again,
right,
not a gated community, not on the beach. Steeplechase has over 1 acre lots. These people have tennis courts in their backyards.
Right.
And again, it's exclusive. It's a beautiful community. They have lovely amenities, but they aren't necessarily in a golf course community, and they're not necessarily right on the beach.
But
now,
you're really in the heart of things, but you're on a big lot.
And again, anywhere from 2,200 to 5,000 square feet, and the price ranges in that property are 500,000 again to about 2 million. You can move over to the beach, as you said, and we're in a neighborhood like Olympus. Olympus is not on the ocean. You're not looking at the ocean, but you're within a stone's throw. Nice
East
early morning walk.
of US 1, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Beautiful community, a little bit older than the Valencia and Abacoa, but that community has 117 homes, and they range in price from 500,000.
And, you know, I've been through there lots of times because we used to have an office in that area, and it still has a very nice neighborhood.
Oh, it's beautiful
feel,
neighborhood.
right?
Yeah, people don't think you can get a neighborhood down here. They think it's always going to be 0 lot lines. It's always going to be a high rise. But there's a lot of people that come down here with their families, relocation, or they're executives, or they're people that just, it's their second home, but they want to be in more of a neighborhood environment.
Right, so even for the seasonal people, they're still interested in that
Yes.
kind of environment. Well, they probably see the same people from season to season. It's just their second neighborhood.
Exactly. Exactly. It's what they're used to up north, and they want us to sort of duplicate it down here, except with the beauty of Florida.
All right, so let's take the next step then. Someone is looking to be in the golf club or on the waterfront and have their boat in their backyard.
Okay.
What would they be looking at?
Okay, if we're going to get into the golf courses, this is where in the luxury market, let's say in northern Palm Beach, you're going to have choices of Frenchman's Reserve.
Right.
You're going to have Ibis and Admiral's Cove.
Sure.
I'm trying to think of a couple of more right off the top. Ballin Isle. Each one of those will have their own individual personalities, and the differences between those are going to be the lifestyle that the person's looking for. They all have golf courses, but a golfer will say the golf course has its own personality.
Right.
The differences there are going to be the difference between whether you can have a social membership, what is the equity membership in the golf course involved, what kind of tee times do you get, are there lessons at this particular golf course, who are my dinner partners going to be.
Right.
It's going to be a mixture of social and golf, and the diehard golfers are going to be more interested in the architecture of the golf course itself. So
And I
it
think
just depends.
we always think of those names as household names here, having been in Florida a long time. Admiral's Cove and Frenchman's Reserve, and Frenchman's Creek, but for golfers, those are not just local familiarities. Across the country, I think people come and they're familiar with those developments.
They know them, they're familiar with them, and they ask for those particular communities. And because they've heard of them, they've either heard of them from their friends or they just have heard of somebody who lives there, whether it's a celebrity or their neighbor who has talked about it in the past. But you have to know each of those communities because they might be fixated on one particular one, but they have no idea what that means to them in terms of lifestyle. So you've got to know them all.
Yeah, well, we all know experts that you know their names are synonymous with certain communities, and I sometimes think that's a little risky when someone comes in and they're dealing with someone who's just that community. That there are differences from one to the other and little nuances. So I think it's important in the luxury market you're dealing maybe present with an office of people where you really can find out what the differences are and what might appeal to you most, especially when it comes to things like memberships and equity and how much you pay for them when you move in and how much you sell them for when you move out. And there's a lot to know. So I think how would you know, talking to an agent, whether you're talking to the right person when it comes to luxury communities?
If I were a member of the general public and I was looking for a luxury community and I wanted an agent who knew a lot about it, I'd come right out and ask them, what do you know about all the individual communities? There's, your typical interview questions that you would ask an agent, but I would want to know what they know about the area. You can always find that person who knows everything there is about one community. For example, there is no one who sells more homes or knows more about Frenchman's Reserve than Bobby Wonderland.
Yeah,
the man sleeps, eats, he just knows that community. So if somebody wants Frenchman's Reserve, Bobby Wonderland's the guy. And but there's other communities too. There's Ibis, and you've got the Klawans, Jackie and Bert Klawan, who know it inside and out. And then you have luxury communities out in Jupiter Farms, and Erica Goldie is the go-to person there. But if you're not fixated on one particular area or one community, and you want to know the differences and you want to know about them, you better find somebody like me and like other luxury realtors that know all the different communities and the difference between them.
Right. I mean, it's easy to come and say, I want to be on a golf course, but until you get here and see how much we have available, you find out really what the differences are. You don't want to find out too late, obviously. Where do you think we're going with the luxury market? Like you said, there's a shortage of inventory now and things are selling quickly, but I see some houses staying on the market longer than others. You've explained to me before. The stuff that's priced right is selling right away, but you think the market is going to be catching up to the ones that are priced higher? It
might catch up to it eventually, but the secret is still to price them right.
Right.
In the very, very beginning. And it's going to affect you both ways. If your house is priced right and everybody is pricing them right, you're going to be able to get a fair dollar for your home, and you're going to be able to move into the next luxury one and pay a fair dollar for it. And that's the win-win situation.
Absolutely.
But the ones that are not priced correctly, they're obvious. They're sitting on the market for months and months and months. They shouldn't be, because there's not that much inventory out there.
Absolutely. So you're obviously the person to talk to when someone wants to come to northern Palm Beach County and look at luxury properties. So what's the best way for people to reach you?
Probably by my cell phone, which is 561-301-8079, or they can email me, and it's just joyphillippi@gmail.com.
Thanks so much for coming in today, and
Thank you for
we look forward to speaking again.